Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, where you can sign up for the Shannons Club, and Penrite Oil, offering technical assistance 7 days a week.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Classic Restos. Of course, not possible without the continued support of Shannons Insurance and Penrite Oil. And how good is Shannons Insurance? They offer us as the enthusiast just so much more. Why not pick up the phone and give Shannons a call for a quote and to find out more information on 134646. You can also visit Shannons online, where you can sign up to become a member of the Shannons Club, where it truly is your garage. See more at shannons.com.au. When it comes time for the finest in oils, coolants, fuel additives and a whole lot more, you cannot go past Penrite. They've stood the test of time. They've been established since 1926. Australian made, Australian owned, and the Penrite Technical Assistance Team is there to help us 7 days a week. Why not find out more when you visit Penrite online at penriteoil.com.au. And remember, oil right, use Penrite, simply a better class of oil. And on today's show, it's a return to regional Victoria, to the beautiful country town of Meredith, where it is time for their Street Car BBQ and Family Day. And it's put on by the good folk of the old school streetcars of Geelong. And why were there dresses behind me in that last shot, you may be thinking? Well, I always like to bring you something different. And today, unfortunately, the weather is woeful and it was a dry place to go and film. Well, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Now, Meredith, it's the chosen town in Victoria by the Old School Streetcar Club of Geelong. And why? Well, it's about getting away from the larger centres and supporting a smaller town such as Meredith. It's great for the town, and today the town's population will increase quite significantly. Located on the Midland Highway between Ballarat and Geelong, Meredith has a population of around 1,200 people when everyone is home, and that is including family pets. A town like Meredith holds its own ambience. A rural town, along with hundreds of others here in Australia, reminds you of a time in life less busy. And if you have a problem, you tell a neighbour. That neighbour tells the postmaster. Soon the whole town knows. It's then out in the open, then you no longer have a problem. Regional towns stick together, and that's a nice formula on its own as well. The post office here opened 1st of November 1854, and the Geelong-Ballarat railway line came through the town in 1862. The local railway station opened soon after. Now only grain and freight trains use the line. But right now we have a paddock, we have an old church behind me, and pretty soon this whole area is going to be full of classic vehicles. Moving through the Meredith Car Show today, incredible show, but the weather, Lenny, is pretty bad.
Yeah, good for ducks.
The Royal Hotel here in Meredith is good enough to let us come onto their property here underneath this cover, which is just so cool. And it's a glorious backdrop as well, Lenny. What do you think?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, at least we're out of the sort of weather and we're keeping dry.
Absolutely, even with some holes in the tin. I don't know how that's working, but anyway. What can you tell us about this particular car?
I brought it about 12 months ago. Had a slight accident in the front. The bloke that couldn't really drive left-hand drive, he sold me the car and we just enjoy it today.
How does it drive as a car?
Beautiful. Love it. I could drive it every day of the week.
Well, I've seen cars similar to this in two-door, but being a four-door car, it'd be pretty thin on the ground here in Australia, I would assume.
Well, this is the only one in Australia. So there's half a dozen, I'd say 6 or 7 two-doors in Australia, but this is the only four-door.
What an accolade to have. Fancy saying I've got the only car in Australia of this type. Where does the Maverick go back with you, Lenny? Like, did you set out and say, right, I want to find a Maverick, or did it just come along and you thought, no, that's the one, I just like that car?
Like I say, he said he crashed it, and he basically said the price to me, and I just couldn't drop it. Like, it was only $500, so anybody would buy it for $500. Yeah. So we brought it, and it's different, and that's what I love about it, because I can go anywhere, any car show, nobody else has got one. I don't have to worry about competing with anybody else, and yeah. The
interior, Lenny, obviously it's original. It's in fantastic condition.
Yep, never been touched as it is from the States, is how it is now. I think it's got 68,000 genuine mile. The only thing I've done is put the wheels and lowered it, that's it.
Yeah. That's amazing, isn't it? Really is. Okay, up under the hood, what power is it?
Ford 6-cylinder. Same 250 log motor, same as the XYs, XWs.
Yeah.
That's it.
The old pre-Crossflow 250, eh?
Yeah, it goes all right. Same as it's power to weight ratio. So yeah, it goes all right when you want it to, or just cruise it and drive it.
So, similar performance to our Cortinas, obviously.
Yeah, basically, yeah, same. Yeah.
Good on you, Lenny. Well, look, it's an interesting car. I mean, the only one in Australia. And Lenny, has it been on a TV show before?
No, not.
So it's first on Classic Restos as well.
That's it, correct, Fletch. Yep, you've done well.
Good. You've done well too, mate. Thanks for turning up here today. The diehards come out in weather like this. It's surprising to see how many guys have turned up here at Meredith. And Dave Rocco and the whole team have just done a marvellous job this year in pulling it together against all the elements as well.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's been a good turnout considering the weather we've had. So yeah, it's all up. It's been a good day so far. Yep. Yeah. Enjoy it.
Good on you, Lenny. You might have to go in there into the Royal Hotel and try out some merchandise.
Yes, that's on the cards.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you very much, Fletch.
No worries.
Cheers.
Out with the Maverick and in with the Commodore. Reason being, the first Commodore, a VB. How are you, James?
Good, yourself, Fletch?
Good, mate, good. Beautiful car, this one. All original, starting to get thin on the earth as well, these things.
Yeah, it's starting to become a collector's item now. So, yeah, they're getting very hard to find.
It's good to still see the cars supporting the chrome bars in this era.
Well, yeah, it's nearly the last of the chrome bars before they went into the VKs.
Yep.
So,
now, tell us the story on this particular car. How did you come across it?
well, I actually bought the vehicle to sell. Then when I used to have one when I was 18. It was my first car when I had my licence. I had a look at the car. I bought it sight unseen off eBay. When I got the car home, it drove perfect. It was still original paint, immaculate condition, rare leather trim, and I thought, you know what, I'll do it up and keep it. And yeah, 3 years later, I still got it.
To think, James, too, that this car, it replaced the HZ Kingswood.
That's correct. That's correct.
I mean, they still market it as you put 3 adults across the back seat and still a ton of room, but...
Good size family car.
Now, this particular one, good power to weight ratio, got a V8 going on there.
Yeah, it's a 253, 4.2 litre.
Yep.
So they also came out with 6 cylinders and 5 litres,
Yep.
but yeah, it's a 253.
I mean, yeah, 253. I mean, again, this is it's a good score of a car. Alloy wheel option as well on this particular one.
Yeah, it's been an SLE. Yes, that was a standard option. So with the aluminium wheels.
I've got to make a reference to the interior of this car too. It is absolutely pristine. I mean, it's like the day it left the dealership. James, thank you so much for bringing this beautiful VB Commodore along. 1979 Commodore. I think it's the first one on Classic Restos. Maybe a long time ago there might have been one on the show, but I don't know, around about 2,500 interviews. I can't remember, but it's worthy of it. Good on you, mate.
Thank you, Fletch.
You're welcome. For the best in classic vehicle, home and contents insurance, you cannot go past Shannons. Why not pick up the phone and give Shannons a call for a quote and to find out more information? Also, don't forget the exclusive opportunity to sign up to become a member of the Shannons Club. Find out more at shannons.com.au. And of course, Penrite, been around since 1926. Australian made, Australian owned, and the technical assistance team is there to help us 7 days a week. Find out more at penriteoil.com.au. You're watching the Classic Car Show here at Meredith. I hope you're enjoying it. Back with more right after this. Time for Jim on today's show. Talk about rare cars. We've got one after another. How are you, Jim?
I'm fine, thanks, Fletch. How are you?
Good, mate. Good. 1975 XB GS Falcon, 302 Cleveland, 4-speed.
That's correct.
Wow, what a score.
That is a score.
I mean, I know I'm trying to find another line. It's just a great thing to have. How long have you had it?
35 years.
I bet 35 years ago it was quite a bit of coin for you to buy it.
$3,600.
Did you think at the time, oh, should I or will I, won't I?
It was too much, but I decided, yes, I'll have it.
Yeah, I think you're in front just a little bit today.
A little bit.
The XY shape in the early 70s was just so synonymous for Ford. It took a few years of acceptance, but when you look back at the XAs and XB Falcons now, they're so stylish with a wraparound dash, high back buckets. Nice cars.
Yes, lovely, comfortable car, and as you say, a lot more stylish, yes.
So, Jim, what have you done to it over the time that you've had it?
Basically, just maintained it. It had a respray 20 years ago. I had the seats reupholstered 10 or 15 years ago, and it's just been maintenance basically. The motor's never been touched. The gearbox has had bearings in it. Diff's never been touched. It's pretty much as you see it.
Now, Jim, I know that there's an emotional attachment to this car. Would you like to share that with us?
Yes. This belonged to my boss, Bill Farrell, who I worked for in 1970, in the early 70s. He took me to Colpage Ford Footscray to pick out a car. and we picked out a car, and he had to wait for 2 or 3 months for it to be built, and I asked him for first option to buy the car, and 4 years later, Sir Fletch, it was mine.
All these years down the track and you've still got it.
Absolutely, and I wouldn't part with it for that very reason.
Do me a favour.
What's that, Fletch?
Don't. Just keep it.
I will keep it. Yes, I will.
Thank you for coming along, Jim. We've had really inclement weather here today in Meredith, but everybody, well, a lot of people have still turned up. We're here at the Meredith Hotel. Damien the Publicans let us have his premises. I mean, it's just typical Australiana, isn't it, and the people.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here and get wet. I don't care.
It's certainly going to take more than a bit of water to keep these people away from this environment. Thank you very much, Jim.
It certainly will, Fletch. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Time for Gary. Gary's up on the show now. How are you, mate?
Good, thanks, Fletch.
That's the way. Thanks for coming out in the rain.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's an overrated experience sitting at home in front of a warm fire. Who'd want to be doing that?
That's right.
Now, you brought a beautiful 1965, the year Fletchy was born. To think that the year I was born, these were the size cars and the type of cars getting around the United States of America. Tell you what, they still look good today, don't they?
They do. Absolutely.
How long have you had it, Gary?
Oh, we had about 5 or 6 years now. Yep.
You like it?
Love it. Yeah, it's a great car. It's a good family car.
Is it yours?
It's my wife's car, yes.
It's an unusual question to say, is it yours? But I knew it was your wife.
That's right.
She'd be pretty cool driving around in this one. She must love it.
Oh, she loves it. It's a turnkey car and she loves to get out on a nice day and cruise around in it, yeah.
Now, Gary, how did you come by the car?
Oh, look, we went to Ballarat from Geelong to have a look at another car, a 56, and which turned out to be no good. On the way home, a mate of mine said he knew of a car sitting in the front yard, so we drove past, and long story short, we liked the car, so
You have acquired the car.
we've acquired the car. Yes.
Now, look, it's custom. It's not an original car by any means, but obviously the styling of the car in its entirety, its transmission.
2-speed power glide. Yep. All rebuilt. Yep.
And up front engine.
It's a small block 400. Yeah.
It must haul the mail all right.
It does. It's not. We haven't hotted it up. Like I said, it's a turnkey car, so we wanted reliability. Yep. Yeah. But it sounds good and goes well.
What's the paint colours on there, Gary? Just say blue and white.
Blue and white.
Yeah, blue and white. Thought that too. And then we look into the interior. Isn't it beautiful? Now, not an original interior, but it doesn't matter because the whole car's been preserved and the interior is very nice. Like the very tasteful way of the Chev emblems there.
Yeah, that was, I believe, my wife's idea. She wanted the Chevy emblem stitched into the interior. She chose the white, as hard as it is to keep clean. But
you know, one thing I love about these 1965 Chevs, the tail lights out of the back of the trunk. How cool is that?
They are, and you can still get them repo type version of them. Yeah.
It's interesting what they did with the Chevs. In 65, they came out of the trunk. 66s, they were rectangular, midway down. And then 67's lower in the bar. Interesting how they just progressively styled themselves downwards.
Yes, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. Good on you, mate. Thanks, Gary.
Great. Thanks, Fletch.
Now, Gary, next year,
Yes.
wear some long pants, will you, mate?
Oh, no. Can't. No time for that.
With me now, Club President Dave Rocco from the Old School Streetcars of Geelong. How are you, buddy?
Good, mate. Good to see you again, Fletch.
Yes, mate. Look, I tell you what, another great show. Terrible conditions weather-wise, but hey, where there's a will, there's a way.
Glad you said that, not me.
Well, how cool's Damien been here at the Royal, allowing us to come down the street, do the interviews, looking after us with some shelter. That's just typical country hospitality, isn't it?
Mate, awesome show, considering we've had rain since yesterday morning till today. Good family day. Had some great sponsors there, some great store holders, some good cars. I think we had about 65, 70 cars.
Dave, your club is just getting stronger and stronger, and you stand for so many great things. Even today, everything you do, like a lot of other car clubs, which I've said many, many times before, it's all fantastic. The charities behind the scenes.
Yeah, a lot of charities behind the scene. We've got a few things we're trying to do. We're trying to raise a bit of money for all charities. Especially family orientated. That's what we're about, kids with cancer and things like that. But unfortunately, after today, we're not going to make a lot of money. But it's good to see the people there, and the people that come might come back next year, and we can have a bigger show and actually see some sunshine. So.
Well, I appreciate the fact that you flew me to Tahiti for this interview, because you can see from the backdrop there, it's beautiful here in the islands, isn't it?
It is magnificent, yes. We're going to have a Tia Maria and lay in the sun and put some suntan cream on.
It's been a good day, mate. Take my hat off to you and the whole club, mate, for under really, as I said, hard conditions to bring the day together.
Special thanks to Leon, the secretary of our car club. Unfortunately couldn't be here today. And all the members, they chipped in. We're here yesterday, and I thought it'll take us all day to set up. 30 blokes come out. We knocked it out of the park, had it all set up in a couple of hours. Same thing today. And all the members, if it wasn't for the members, and that's what club's about, is about the families and the members to put in their free time all the time, we wouldn't be able to do things like this.
It's a good system, mate, and you've got it nailed. Good on you, Dave.
No worries, Fletch, and we look forward to next year. So Facebook, Old School, SKOOL. Get on board and keep an eye on it. We've got a few cars and coffee coming up to raise some more money. Thank you, Fletch.
You deserve a Fletch tour. See the amazing Ford, GM and Chrysler Nationals at Carlisle events, along with museums and private collections in beautiful Pennsylvania, USA. Then it's the Motown city of Detroit and its region, taking in more die-hard stuff with incredible history. Rounding off with the Woodward Dream Cruise, the largest moving car cruise in the world.
It just makes it so much easier on yourself when Fletch picks you up, drives you around.
Laughs, lots of laughs.
More than what I expected.
I'm definitely coming back again.
Go to classicrestos.com.au and click on the Fletch Tours icon for more information. Hope you're enjoying today's show. Back with more after this.
Moving on through, as we do, time for Manny now on today's show. How are you, Manny?
I'm very well, Fletch, and yourself?
Oh, good. Got to be good. You know, when it comes to classic cars from the 60s, there's very few that will out-surpass the rocket styling of the Thunderbird.
Yep. Oh, they do. They're a classic shape, and I actually bought that off a mate of mine. Needed a little bit of work, but generally it was pretty tidy. I've had it for about 5 years, and my nephew and myself pulled the motor out, painted all the engine bay, went over the motor.
Beautiful. Like you say, clean styling. The lines, just beautiful. Showcased in the rear by that absolutely awesome rear bumper and those tail lights.
Yep.
You got to love that.
I do. And talking about the rear end or the back of the car, the back seat, it's like a lounge suite.
Yeah.
It wraps around and it's, you know.
And not only did the Americans build these things with sumptuous interiors, but then they engraced them with pencil-thin chrome stainless steel trim on the inside as well. Everything was look at me, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Even the, you know, all the pull buttons on the wipers and the washers, and it's not just push a button, it's pull levers, it's all hydraulic. It's
why push a button when you can pull a lever? And look at the dash. Have a go at that. That dashboard, that's out of some sort of rocket or out of some, meet George Jetson, I don't know.
Well, it was. I have read a bit on them, and apparently the guys that designed it and all the rest have followed the aeronautical theme on it.
Now, this particular car, tell us what powers it up front, Manny.
It's a 390 cubic inch engine.
That's all they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
390s?
390s. Why muck around with the little stuff, you know, like metal end was cheap, I suppose. But it's a 390. Basically an FMX transmission. Motor's been gone through, it's all spot on. 9-inch, obviously 9-inch rear diff. It has had an upgrade on the brakes. It's got the 65, 66 disc brake front end.
So it only takes 2 miles to pull up now.
That's it.
I love as I alluded to earlier, every angle that we look at, even at like wheel trims, top of the guard, indicator lights there. Everything's special.
Yeah, yep. Yep, there's a purpose for everything. It's got absolutely everything in it.
Does everything still work?
Yes, except for the air conditioning. Well, I've just got to hook that up, so yeah, but it's all there.
Always helps when you hook them up.
Yep. And look, it's got central locking. It's got door ajar if you haven't closed the door properly. Electric seats. You know, it's just got...
See, the cars that haven't got the door ajar alarm, you just rely on the breeze that you can feel coming in.
That's it, yeah, exactly.
Manny, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Great catch up with you.
Fletch.
And I love those glasses up on the dash. Are they yours? Do you actually wear them?
Actually, my wife, we went for a run down to Williamstown, and she said, I've left me bloody glasses at home. And we walking past a $2 shop, and I said, there you are, looking at you, grab them, put them on, and that was it.
It's almost like the Elton John look there, Manny.
It is.
Good on you, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Good on you. Likewise.
Been a pleasure interviewing you.
Likewise, been a pleasure meeting you. I have seen you before, but...
You have?
I have.
Oh. You've just seen me before. Just a little TV show. Manny, look after the Thunderbird. Love it. And thanks for bringing it out today.
Thank you for interviewing and all the rest of it. Keep up the great work, you and your team, and keep it going. Good on you, mate.
Thanks, Manny.
Thank you.
When we talk of station wagons, we talk of big, we talk of a 63, a Chevy Biscayne. How are you, Richard?
I'm well, thanks, Fletch.
That's the way, mate. How are you? Good?
I'm feeling well, yeah. Yeah, fantastic.
Have to be driving this big girl?
Well, she moves around the road a little bit, but we keep it under control.
Being a wagon too, I mean, how massive! It's immense. What a beefy subject to
I
drive.
think about 1,750 kilo off the memory on the import papers.
It's a lot of car for the money, Richard.
That's a lot of ride.
Tell us about the car. It's an interesting thing. How long have you had it? Where is it from? Its history. That's probably going to be an interesting aspect of this vehicle. What can you tell us?
Reno, Nevada was its origin, and it was a naturally sandblasted in the Nevada desert.
Yes.
And
very sunburned car.
Very, very sunburnt. In fact, the one half of the car was absolutely right down to bare metal. And the fellow that found it restored the car totally, other than the interior. So I bought it as a restored car minus interior.
Wow.
About 14 months ago.
Much of a job on the interior?
Yeah, basically went right through it, so it was a total.
Comfortable car to drive?
It is, yeah, real cruiser.
Big floater?
Yeah, it floats well.
Got its own postcode. It's a big thing.
It has got its own postcode, yeah. Yeah, funny you say that.
What propels this beast along?
Small block 400 with a crossflow tunnel ram 475, I think they are, Hollies. Cool. Twin.
Yeah. And how do you go and you bring the power on? Any flat spots? Comes on nice and even?
Oh, you can hear the fuel going out of the tank. And
good.
Stuff. Yeah, uses lots.
You've got to be able to hear that.
But it goes well for a big car.
Enthusiasts such of ourselves, we think of the guys that work in the oil refineries. We want to keep all these men employed and go through lots of petrol and, keep everything going, the big wheel turning, don't we?
I certainly help with that, that's for sure.
You've got to fuel the beast.
We do fuel the beast. It normally, about a 30-kilometre drive costs me about $30.
Good. About $1 a K. That's good.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love
it. Look out back of the car, the huge tailgate. It's like a big bald man's forehead, isn't it?
It is like that, and I always get the same old comments. I'm a little guy. I'm not well structured, but I've got the big car.
Yeah, that's. I won't take that any further because it's not always true.
It probably didn't sound too good, but never mind.
Absolutely, Richard. Thanks for coming along here today. It's huge. The car, and it's a pleasure interviewing you. It's been great having you today on Classic Restos, the big TV show.
Thanks, Fletch. I'm glad you came down. Thanks for that.
My pleasure, mate.
Okay.
And look after this big girl.
I shall.
Well, there's just a taste of the 2014 Old School Streetcars of Geelong show here in Meredith. And it just goes to show it takes more than a dose of bad weather to keep the enthusiasts away. Look out for it in 2015. In the meantime, classicrestos.com.au is the website that you need for the DVD boxed sets of the show. Classic Restos merchandise. Classic Restos Truck Series 2 is now available as well. Contacting the major sponsors and joining us on a Fletch tour in 2015. As I say at the end of every show, no matter where you're watching from, until next week, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can park half of it in Meredith and the other half in Bannockburn.
Bannockburn?
I'll get it. You can park half of it in Meredith and the other half in Bannockburn.
You're close again, Fletch. Bannockburn.
Richard, thank you so much for coming along today with your long car. You can park half of it in Meredith and the other half in Bannockburn. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, where you can sign up for the Shannons Club, and Penrite Oil, offering technical assistance 7 days a week.